Hello YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. Heidi's out here holding the box for me, and I'm slowly joining her because today we're going to put together and review a gazebo, and it's also a SUV tent. That's why we got our vehicle here. Now we have a small, it's a Kia Seltos. We want to see how it works with the smaller SUVs. I know that a bigger SUV, our daughter has like an Explorer. I'm sure it would work fine with that, but I want to see how it does with a shorter one. And it looks interesting. Now this is a bigger box, obviously. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it says heavy. That is something, whenever you start talking portable, it's all relative. 43 pounds. Heidi can move it, and it does come in a bag. It's just 43 pounds starts to get a little wielding whenever you're trying to go places. But the nice thing is if you use it for an SUV tent, you know, for camping or whatever, you're going to have it in the vehicle most likely. So let's get this thing open, take a look at it, and put it together. They say it only takes 3 to 5 minutes. Now I know our clam shelter we used to be able to put together pretty quick. So let's see what happens.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So yeah, just like the clam shelter, this comes in a large carry bag, you can see, with straps. It's pretty nice. The company's JOYTUTUS. I know that's no, you're not going to remember that. There's nothing that really makes you remember that name, except we did a review from something that they sent us a long time ago. So JOYTUTUS. Now, of course, there's going to be links in the description for this so you can find it. But we're going to open this up and see what it takes to put it together. Just like the clam shelter, they have this fabric. It's not paper, it's like a fabric instruction sheet that shows you all the components that come with it, because you get ropes, you get little tie down nails or ground nails, ground stakes, and it shows you how to put it all together. We're going to do what most people do. I'm not going to read the instructions. I'm just going to try to put it together. So let's see what happens here. It does have like rain fly. It does have let me think.
Does it have a floor?
No, it doesn't have a floor. Our clam shelter had a floor, but we had to pay extra for that. But it has like, not a rain fly, but it has a protective coating on it for the UV rays. This is a 210 denier. Whenever it's fully opened, you're gonna see it's pretty tall. It's like 7 foot tall. These look like windows, I would assume. I don't know. I'm getting, maybe I need to read the instructions. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at the instructions real quick just to see what's involved. We've done something like this before.
Like this in the garage.
Yeah, there's stakes there. Yeah, we've got some rain that's coming in, so we're gonna try to beat that. This is nice, this protective piece. I would definitely hang on to that. Looks like you can tie it. Put that in the bag also. So I'm going to go ahead and just run you guys through it real quick. This is in the gazebo mode, I guess you could say. We still haven't put in the fiberglass poles that support this door. That's what those are sitting over here. But you can see it's huge in here. It was, you know, again, this is what our last one looked like, the clam shelter. But the clam shelter, it was a little bit heavier duty than this. But this thing is more, again, a little bit more portable and set up for the you know, on hooking up to a back of a vehicle. I will have to say that this has one big plus, huge plus, that the clam shelter didn't have. And the clam shelter didn't have this thick, it wasn't this thick, the top. We had to buy a rain fly that actually went on it. So that's nice. So you can see what it looks like here on the outside. I have to say that the only thing that bothers me about this is the bows. Those bows that hold the openings open. That is kind of a concern because, I mean, it works, but it really puts stress on everything if you tie it up tight. Out here looks really good. We can tighten this up a little bit more. You can see there, or we can actually move this if we wanted to the next one down.
It fits pretty good.
I think it fits good too.
I got it zipped off in here.
Now we've got little debris from the trees that are blowing over because it is spring and the pollen's allowing their stuff to really jump out. But you can see here what I was talking about, how tight all this is. It has to do with these bows and where they're tied at. So I'm going to untie this right here. And it's going to maybe free it up more, but it's so tight. This bow is so tight that we can't really zip this. Here, hold this and I'll work with it. Let me there, try to zip it now. Yeah, the bow, I'll have to say that if you're going to tie this bow, just tie it loosely. I wish that they had some sort of a clip here instead of what they do, and that's these little ties. I guess there's the chance that we could have, no, that's the way they're supposed to be secured. Yeah. So I don't agree with that 100%. So it makes it more difficult to go in and out of the door. And over here looks really good, even though it's tied off. There's one more thing we can add. Let me go ahead and do that, even though we just got this zipped. What I got here is the last few touches of what makes this really a shelter more than anything else. Each panel has the ability to cover the windows. All right, so we're not going to install all the panels on there just because of the game's getting called due to rain. As long as we're inside there, it's pretty, Heidi's dry. So the panels go on pretty much like the clam shelter does. And although I'll have to say that the overall installation is very similar to what the clam shelter is, there is some downfalls, and really it all comes down to these hoops. They do a good job doing what they're supposed to and supporting all this, but it's just not, it's not a good way to hook it up. I wish they had a different way of doing that. We'll go ahead and show you what this looks like. And there's our little room. Now this is something that I've never really understood also, which I think Heidi might agree with. I think there should be an apron that goes from the bumper to the ground. I mean, especially if you have a tall SUV, whatever's underneath is going to, come basically into essentially this little room area, which we'll open this up and go back in there. I do like this. I mean, there's something about this I really like. The thing is once stuff comes from underneath here, sand, if you're at the beach, whatever, bugs, they're going to get in your car. Make sure that you set up your car so your dome light's not on when this is open. You don't want it to go dead. But this does make it nice to where you could camp in here. I mean, they make mattresses that inflate, that goes in the back. If we put our seats down, we have an area that we could actually sleep in. And I'll have to agree with, if you put up some sort of even though they're tinted pretty heavy, I still think that there might be something needed there to make it to where this could become a dressing room. I agree with that. That would be kind of nice. But overall, I give it a pretty good rating. It's just because your other option, which Heidi knows oh so well, is the clam shelter. The clam shelter's not cheap. The clam shelter's very expensive, actually. So at time of filming this one, we're running around $279, and sometimes they have sales on that stuff. Compared to the clam shelter though, you're going to add at least another $80, and you're not getting this piece that connects to your SUV. You're just going to get a shelter. The clam shelter has been kind of the staple for some time now, but it's also like the one we used to have that was this size, that came with a floor and the rain fly and all the panels that covered the window, was $500. It was like $530. It's still that much. So there's a void that is between the clam shelter and all the other ones out there, and this one fits that need. This is pretty decent. So the links will be down in the description below. Click the links, and yeah, I guess you can go camping then.